Ladies and gentlemen, it's Friday. I'm on time with the recording. Ladies and gentlemen, my name is PJ. This is Malicious Compliance Fridays. Let's get after it. Let's make some noise. I'm excited. This is always one of my favorite days of the week when it comes to reading these stories from Reddit. I'm here every day, 6 p.m., bringing you these great stories from Reddit. So check me out. We're going to have a good time. So let me know what you think about the story. Scale of 1 to 10. What do you think about these people and what they decided to do? Were they right or were they wrong? If they were right, let's go ahead and give them a 10. If they were wrong, put a 1. But man, come on. All right, the first story in the Malicious Compliance is from the Omega 010. Shouts out to the Omega 010. The story title is Seen and Not Heard, all right? Story reads, I work in contract security as an armed guard at a major utility company. I pick up extra work on my days off from the main site covering banks that the company I work for has clients at as well. Okay, that's some good backstory. Since today I covered a branch of a large bank that has a white and red logo. Okay, we know the one. Like stagecoaches and traces their roots back to the mid 1800s. After I was allowed to enter the bank operations manager gave me a rundown, read me the riot act off the bat. I had a feeling at the time that this might be a long day. Yeah, you can tell me about it. You can kind of sense it. 30 minutes later, a bank customer came in looking lost and said she had an appointment with a banker. I greeted her and told her to take a seat and they'll be with her shortly. That prompted Madam Bank Operations Manager to come out from the back and get on to me for telling the customer to take a seat. Told me that I wasn't allowed to give any direction to anyone coming in as it could cause problems. Okay, that's reasonable enough. An hour or so later, a man entered the branch with a problem and he was a bit irate because of this issue. BOM, Bank Operations Manager, said she could try to help him and ran into issues, which caused him to get more irate, especially since she was not acting very helpful and kept putting the blame on him for something that appeared to be the bank's fault. She came out from behind the teller desk and was looking for a banker to help the gentleman. And while she was wandering around, I engaged him in a conversation. He was wearing a Marine Corps hat, and I started chatting with him about what he did in the Corps and other things along that line. She finally figured something out, and instead of calling the gentleman over, she called my name and did a throat slash. After she was finished with the gentleman and wasn't able to help him while still blaming him for the situation, she called me over and proceeded to lay into me about how we just had spoke about talking to people. She said that I'm in here for presence only, and I'm not here to de-escalate. One of the primary purposes of a security guard was to speak with the clients. She said that my conversation with the man could cause problems for the bank, despite it not being about the bank at all, and that I wasn't to talk to customers at all. I asked her if she wanted me to be seen and not heard, and she indicated that's what she wanted from me. She once again threatened to call my supervisor if I had a problem and didn't understand her. Wow, this lady's a piece of work. Message was received loud and clear. I notified my supervisor of the incident and decided I was going to comply with her orders to the letter. I like this guy. I feel like something's going to happen. Cue malicious compliance with me deciding to communicate for the rest of the day with the signs from the limited sign language I know from my wife and friends and gestures. People would ask me questions and I just gesture, point to the please wait here sign. People would talk about the weather and I just nod. I directed people to stand in line with gestures and nods. Gestures and nods. This went on until just before noon when the branch manager pulled me into his office with Madam Branch Operations Manager. He proceeded to talk about their concerns and asked me what had happened with the irate gentleman. I filled him in, and it was obvious by his reaction that my version of events didn't match with the Madam Bank Operations Manager had told him. Nevertheless, he proceeded to tell me how I was supposed to do things and that we had to work together. According to both of them, anything that I say, even not related to the bank or financial matters, can cause problems, and it's best to not say anything, especially to irate customers. Afterwards, as I was leaving his office, I informed him that I already let my supervisor know of the situation and that any further issues would be best brought to his attention. I'm half expecting them to call my supervisor to have me removed early. And that would be perfectly fine with me, as I never plan to cover this location in the future. I'm eating lunch now, but I plan on continuing my malicious compliance after my break ends. I'll be present and do my rounds as I'm supposed to, but nothing that I have to greet people or discuss anything with anyone. End of the day update. When speaking to my ops manager at the end of the day, he informed me that they requested that I not return to the branch because of how I responded to their request to not speak to the customers. Told him that was fine, as I was going to request to not go back to that branch anyways. And I asked if I was getting wrote up. He said that I was in the clear, as it was obvious that I was following the client's instructions to the letter. I know it's probably not a very satisfying conclusion based on a lot of the stories here, but it's a good conclusion in the contract security world when the following the client's instruction literally engages in malicious compliance. Oh man, what a jerk person, man. Sometimes people let power go to their head, but maybe a situation that happened in the past with the bank and the security guard that led to the situation. So who knows? People that work at banks live in a whole totally different world. Let's read one more story. I got one. This one that seems pretty cool. Something that we all can relate to. The author is Syntax Pedal. Syntax Pedal. Okay, whatever that means. The title is Boss Said No Working from Home, so I came in sick as requested. That's terrible. Last week, I woke up feeling awful, fever, cough, the whole thing. I messaged my boss to ask if I could work from home so I wouldn't get anyone sick. He replied, no exceptions. If you're well enough to work, you're well enough to be here. So I dragged myself in, coughing and sniffling the whole time. The look on his face when I walked through the door was priceless. By the end of the day, he told me to go home and said I could work remotely after all. Funny how that works. Yo, what type of boss would even risk that? Like, what? Why do you feel like, how, man? If somebody says they're sick, why even chance people getting sick around them? Nobody wants to be sick. And after 2019, 2020, we know what happened then. Why chance that for anybody, man? That's ridiculous. All right, guys, this is Malicious Compliance Fridays with deep dive stories. Thank you guys for tuning in for another episode. Going to be back next week on time with the stories, and it's going to be great. Thank you guys again for the returning subscribers, and anybody who's coming across the channel, please consider giving a like, a subscribe, and checking me out. Comments too. This is a channel that's growing. We're just starting out, but we're going to build it up. We're going to keep showing up. Salute. This is Coffee. And again, man, just thank you. Peace.